conducting an overview of the entire web development process. Once the overview is complete, we'll take an in-depth look at each step. We'll be following this process during the course and also in the development of the websites we create as part of the tutorials. It's very important to have a thorough understanding of each part of this process so you know exactly what we're doing each step of the way. Also, making mistakes in the early stages can sometimes lead to significant issues later on. So keep that in mind and let's get started. Step 1 is to plan and create a flow diagram of your website. Step 2 is to determine your system requirements and preferred hosting solution. Step 3 is to choose a domain name and register it. The domain name is what people will use to access your website. It's your web address. Step 4 is to configure a local testing server. Step 5 is to configure a production environment, a live web server. Step 6 is to install and set up an FTP service. Step 7 is to develop the front end of your web application using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, and jQuery. Step 8 is to set up a database using MySQL and PHPMyAdmin. MySQL and PHPMyAdmin are database management tools. They enable us to add, access, and manage database content. Step 9 is to interact with your database using PHP for dynamic functionality and user interactivity. Step 10 is to upload your website using an FTP service. Step 11 is to configure DNS records so your domain name translates into your web page's IP address. And finally, step 12 is to configure a custom email address on your domain.